consciousness and movement building MILPA, cultivated change makers.
All right, welcome everybody to the MILPA show. Thank you so much for being here on another beautiful day. And we have actually 3 guests today that have all been a part of the Next Generation Fellowship, NGF, which is a partnership between MILPA and the Center on Juvenile and Criminal Justice, otherwise known as CJ in the Bay Area. So y'all are gonna have a chance to learn more about NGF, but first I wanna introduce Angie Parks, Alex Chef Zubia, he goes by Chef, and Edgar Ernesto Ibarra Gutierrez. So Angie is actually our finance and operations specialist at MILPA. Chef is a movement builder at Fresno Barrios Unidos, and Edgar is our leadership and program coordinator at MILPA. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with a little check-in question. So what's one goal that you are looking to accomplish or move forward with for 2022 or for this time, for this moment? And go ahead and feel free to start off, Angie.
Thank you, Rosara, for having us today. I'm excited to be here. I think one of the goals that I'm most looking forward to is just furthering my education, but not just in a technical sense in a classroom setting, furthering my education in the movement work and healing processes and things that are going to make me more of a person as a whole, and just to have better understanding of all the working parts in how movement work goes. I think also too, being in classroom, working towards my educational goals and working towards that degree that I have been, at it for a couple of years already. So those are just some of my goals. I have quite a few, but those are just a few to get started. And I'll pass it over to Chef.
Thank you, Angie. Goals for 2022, I have so many of them, but I think I'm going to focus on something, that's a little bit easier to obtain, is just my sobriety. That's one thing that, I haven't been, for 20 years. So now it's just like my main focus is to heal myself so I could continue offering my gifts to the community.
On a professional level, I just want to graduate. I want to just graduate. I can't wait to just graduate, get my hopefully everything goes good. I'll be graduating this June from Davis, but I'm really looking forward to just graduating and really getting back to the trenches. It's cool to be in the school and try to get this receipt. That's what I call a degree, but it's I really want to get back to the trenches as much as I possibly can and be able to be of support wherever it is, wherever that is, be of support to the people. And that's on a professional level, that's what it is. And on a more personal level, y'all, I just want to continue to further learn. I want to tap in with the elders that I already tapped in with. I want to continue to nurture that relationship with them. I want to continue to learn, listen, most important, learn how to listen better. I like to talk, so just need to learn how to listen a little bit more, and and overall just have a good, healthy life. That's what I'm trying to shoot for this year. Palabra.
Orale, gracias. And for myself, definitely looking forward to accomplishing health and happiness, which I think is an ongoing goal, lifetime goal, right? But I think just kind of zooming in on being able to have time to focus again on nutrition, fitness, and just having time to meditate, time to pray, right? I think that it could be really, really easy to get out of touch with myself. I'm going through the motions of, being in my body or whatever, but my head's somewhere else, right? And so it really helps to be able to burn medicine and to be able to just come back to myself, right? And what you had mentioned, Chef, about sobriety, I think I'm on that one too, right? How do I achieve that natural high without needing another substance, right? Of oh, I need to have that in order to feel here, right? And so I feel like I'm in that space and I know it's possible because last week I was great, right? We're, natural high, cool, doing all these things. And then there's that overwhelming feeling that oh man, I can't, move forward. But regardless, it is possible, health and happiness. So thank y'all for sharing so much. Pero we'll go ahead and get it started with Angie. So if you could tell us in your own words, who is Angie Parks?
Wow, that can be either a super simple question or extremely complicated, I guess, depending on what day of the week it is. I'm someone who's very passionate about helping others, regardless of what capacity it is in. I think that God gave me the heart to want to help other people that don't have it like I do. And I don't have much, but I'm very blessed for what I do have. So I feel that I need to pay it forward in some ways or in any way that I can. I'm very passionate about helping incarcerated women. I was once incarcerated myself for 13 years. So I know how it is to be inside, and I feel like the women don't get the support that they need and that they deserve. Oftentimes, you know, their families are taking care of the kids, so they can't necessarily give the attention to them as, you know, other folks would have it. But I am an outside organizer. I'm someone who was extremely passionate inside, as an inside organizer, doing everything I could possibly do for my community. If that meant going, you know, to the lieutenant or the captain or even the associate warden's office and banging on those doors and not taking no for an answer, that was, I was a person that they were sending because they know that's the type of person I am. I will beat down any door to get something accomplished that I feel is necessary. At home, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm an aunt, I'm a partner, and just everyone that knows me knows that since I've been home, I have this extreme love and passion for nature. I think because I was without it for so long that it just has given me a heightened sense to appreciate everything that's been placed on this earth, and it's here for a reason, whether it is good or bad. Yeah, and that just kind of sums it up as who I am.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Chef, take it away, and then you can pass it on to Edgar.
Okay, yeah, you know, complicated question, but I guess, you know, the root of it, you know, is I'm indigenous, I'm native to this, you know, continent. I'm a warrior, I'm a nurturer, and I am just a community member, you know, and a student to the game. So just always learning, and yeah, so.
For myself, you know, I'm of UM descent. You know, I'm also Mexicano, Chicano, indigenous. Really proud to say it that way. You know, a lot of the times it's something that's like, you know, gets like at one point or another, Chicano is like, what does that mean, right? And then folks will try to like bash it down, but it's like, no, it's like, it's a political statement. It's kind of what I represent. It's someone who's always fought for their community. So I always like to uplift that, but indigenous, because I also want to honor those 7 generations backwards. Those 7 generations backwards, those prayers that some at one point or another, some of my ancestors, great grandmas, grandpas, whoever it was, laid down those prayers so that their families could thrive at one point or another, even through all the adversity. So I am resilience, but I am also adversity. I am love. You know, I'm still that youngster. You know, I'm still that youngster out there running amok. Still feel that I got a whole bunch to learn, but sometimes they say I got an old spirits. I don't know what that necessarily means. It means if it's they're shooting an arrow or what, but it's like, you know, I do my best, again, like I was mentioning before, that to just to try to listen to the elders, to follow that way. And you know, they got a whole bunch of stories and a whole bunch of lessons and teachings that are there. And sometimes just because of being young and thinking personally for myself, knowing that I knew everything, I've been through it, there's nothing you can teach me, I failed to listen. So like I said, I'm a student, a forever student. I love to read, y'all. I like to geek out on philosophy, culture, anything that has to do with like expanding the movement, anything that has to do with any type of revolutionary thought. I'm there. I like to break that down. But I'm also a brother. I'm also a nephew, a son, one of the homies. Well, one of the, you know, I'm someone's, like I said, all in all, I know my mom's son, and that's most important. Because every time she sees me, like, oh, calls me, hey, ¿qué está haciendo, mijo? Or I'm doing some homework, you know? I don't think she ever got that response from me when I was a kid. So it's like, for her, it's fulfilling. And I think I'm a big reflection of her and my 2 sisters, and also my brother, big reflection of like how much they invested in me. So I'll just say that much, y'all. But that's, in a nutshell, I can go on the good one, but that's me right there.
Yeah. So to anybody watching, as you may know, we have this eclectic, beautiful group of people that have had various experiences, and they're going to jump into a little bit more of what NGF is. But if you want to start us off, Edgar, with just an overview of what is the Next Generation Fellowship?
No, definitely. I guess just to start it off for anybody that doesn't know, it's NGF. It's the Next Generation Fellowship. It's first and foremost a policy advocacy training place for specifically for folks who are formerly incarcerated or justice involved, and even for some of those folks who are out there, the loved ones, the friends that stayed behind that never got incarcerated, who also want to get in the mix and throw some punches and learn some few tools to actually basically demolish the prison industrial complex as we know it and end mass incarceration. But also, to a big part of the NGF, it's also a space for emerging leaders to engage in cultural healing practices and learn how to, most important, impact public policy from our stories. And I think that's a real big part of what NGF is, but also it centers the needs of formerly incarcerated and justice involved emerging leaders, like in a tailored training way, as far as like most of the facilitators, some of the facilitators there that are formerly incarcerated, so they also bring like a different level of like understanding of where folks are at and how to best support. And then, but it also another part of the NGF, it's there to inspire fellows to leverage their lived experience and to drive transformative change in the justice system. And I guess when I just thinking about that, it's like we have the power. They say we have the palabra, we have the word, and it's like how we choose to use it is the most important thing. And I think that's something that NGF really helps out with. It helps us like awaken that word. It helps us, if not awaken, finesse it, however it may be for each individual that's been a past participant, but it really tries to help that. And most of all, it's bring together mentors and partners to support the next generation of leaders. We always want to build relationships. It's not going to happen in silos. It's going to happen by building this network, robust network. And our folks have been doing it for years. We can see it with a perfect example, I'll say, is the corn. It started in Mexico and it spread all the way down to Chile and it spread all the way up to Canada. The cultivation and the trading of how to do it, of how to plant it in this type of climate. We want to take the same different type of approach and planting that milpa and planting that type of seeds with everybody that comes into NGF, because I think that's the most important thing we can do, is build solidarity, not just collaboration or coalition, but solidarity. We got to be solid with one another and be able to just like stand there, because it can get treacherous. Everybody knows that it can get treacherous on the streets. It can get also treacherous in this nonprofit world. It can get treacherous in trying to pass legislation. And I think the best thing we can do is be there for one another and be solid. But that's just kind of like on the philosophy and the mission and vision. But NGF at the same time, it's again, y'all, for whoever's out there watching and listening, go ahead and apply. Check us out at ngfellowship.org. The application page is up and running. It'll be closing on January 31st, a Monday. It closes at 11:59 p.m. So just in case you're one of those folks who likes to put that to the side and procrastinate a little bit, I'm one of those. So, but if you do that, you got to 11:59 p.m. It's a 3-day training, with also an addition of an orientation day. And those 3 days, the 3 different sessions consist of 2-day trainings, and we try to spread them out apart so where folks can, it's not just like overbearing, and it gives people time to breathe. It gives the opportunity to actually soak up some of the knowledge, but we also, again, try to provide as much resources as we can for fellows to make it, how can I say, like, so it's not just, again, not too overbearing on folks, and it best supports their needs. And yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of what NGF is. This is my 2nd year going in facilitation. I was a past fellow. I was a 2018 alumni for NGF, and when I first came there, and to be honest, y'all, it was transformative for me. And I was fresh out. I was 24, 25 years old, coming out from quite some time, and it really helped me shift my perspective as far as how I saw how policy and laws can change and provide opportunities for folks to come out, to keep them out, to provide the necessary resources to support them and to succeed in life. And it wouldn't have helped. I wouldn't have that paradigm shift in my way of thinking if I wouldn't have been part of NGF and met all the dope people I've met, Ki, Watani, Louis, all them folks. It's like beautiful people throughout the whole fellowship, y'all. So I'll say how much, Rosada.
Órale, pues muchas gracias for giving that overview. And I know that this year the sessions are going to take place March, April, and May. So we definitely will have the description for the application and the website in the description. but also, you know, have it show up as folks are viewing and whatnot. And so we'll go ahead and jump into Angie, if you want to start us off with why are fellowships like NGF important for formerly incarcerated and system impacted individuals?
Thank you, Rosara. That's a really good question. I think the biggest thing is having space where you feel safe and you feel comfortable. And healing is a part of that. And that was one thing that I really enjoyed about NGF was the healing aspect of it. We started off our sessions, you know, with some sort of meditating, breathing exercises, medicine was brought in. And this was probably one of the only fellowships that I've been a part of where that was part of the curriculum. So I really enjoyed that. And it was a learning experience in some ways for me, and some things I already knew and had, you know, enjoyed myself at times. But yeah, that being the most important is somewhere safe to come and to express yourself and not to be judged, and to be around like-minded people. And that's another important thing is you share your experiences with people that have been through that, or they're a family member who is going through it right now with someone that is currently incarcerated. But I think a bigger picture of that is it really takes a village to be able to make change. And especially when it comes to legislative change, it's all hands on deck. It can't just be one person doing this as a solo venture. It's got to be everybody, you know, to the fullest. Let's show up, be ready, and speak out. You know, you have to speak out and speak up for these legislators to hear you. And I think that was one thing that NGF taught me, was how to show up in these spaces, that your voice matters. And, you know, some people will think, oh, well, you know, everybody else is doing it, they're okay, you know, we have enough people. No, there's never enough people that can say enough to these assembly members and senators. And it's imperative that people change their thinking to know that we need you. Like, it's important. You can't just have that mentality that you'll just sit back and watch everybody else do the work and then try to step up in the time when the work's done, which it will never be, and try to, you know, stake a claim in it that you had a hand in it, because it does. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and there are many wins, but there's also many losses. So people need to understand that as well. It's an ongoing process that's going to be ever evolving. And that's why we need people in this movement that are ready to roll up their sleeves and do this work. And NGF definitely gives you the tools on how to do it. Another part that I really enjoyed was the networking aspect of it. I'm still in contact with NGF alumni, and, you know, just hearing about some of the things that they're doing is not only inspiring, but it creates other ideas and ways that you can help your community, you know, moving forward. So those were some of the takeaways that I got from the fellowship. So I strongly encourage the folks out there to apply. Even if you think legislative work or anything like that might be intimidating, it really isn't. It's your lived experience that's going to carry you through, and that's going to be the knowledge that you need to help you. And NGF just provides those tools to bring it all together.
Yeah, thank you, Angie. Orale. So, Xef, so how did NGF contribute to your further involvement in the movement?
It just, you know, offered a sense of community, introduced me to, you know, the whole cast of fellowship, you know, participants, which today I still, you know, I still am in contact with. So it's always about learning new things, and this movement, there's so much different, you know, moving parts to it, you know. So just, you know, having everybody in their, you know, field of expertise, you know, kind of just like give you their knowledge, their wisdom, and then also, you know, being able to like fall back on them. Like, I'm still in communication with plenty of the fellowship members, and now it's just every time I have a question, you know, I'm following them on Instagram or through Facebook, and, you know, or when I see that they need help, you know, I'm quick to, you know, ask him like, hey, what can I do for you? Or, you know, how can I, you know, continue, you know, helping, you know, what you're doing? And it's reciprocal. So, you know, that's how, you know, it's contributed to, you know, the movement as a whole.
Yes, thank you. And I think that, as y'all have alluded to, like, this movement work is not easy. It's not for one individual. It's a group of people coming together that are doing the work on a consistent basis, right? Because in the same way that this machine of capitalism and the prison industrial complex and all these systems that have control over us, they don't stop, right? Like, they just keep going, and they're automatic, and and so in a lot of ways we have to be really mindful of taking care of ourselves and being able to push forward. So thank you so much for that. So passing it back to you, Angie. So how did you hear about NGF? And you might have already mentioned this, but like, if you can dive a little bit more into how you heard about NGF, and that might even help with, as we continue to put out the word for NGF, like, who do we need to tell, right? So that the right folks are able to know about this opportunity.
So I heard about NGF through other people that I have been working with in the movement, other organizations that I've either collaborated with or was doing volunteer work. And a couple of people had told me, hey, NGF is opening up for applications. You should apply. It's, a lot of policy work, and it'd be a good tool for you. And then knowing that I'm one of those people that like to speak up about things and don't have a problem, speaking with legislative, assembly members or senators. So yeah, I definitely think the word is through the network of organizations that do this work, but I think that we definitely need to get it more out there for everyone to have the opportunity to enjoy this fellowship and to learn. It's whether you think you know already a lot about policy, you're going to come out of this knowing something more, something different, maybe a different approach. Even though it sounds like it's all the same work and it kind of fits under one umbrella, there's several different ways to tackle this. And, you need to have different plans of attack coming from all directions to come out these people. So the more we can get the word out there about fellowships like NGF, the better we are going to be prepared as our weapons of war against, mass incarceration in the prison industrial complex. So for folks out there listening, please spread the word about these fellowships. It's crucial that we have people go through these types of programs just so we can stay up on game. So
yes, thank you so much. And passing it back to you, Chef, what are one or two things that you walked away from with NGF?
I want to say a whole bunch of things, but it's simple. The two things I walked away from is knowledge and community, and those are what I hold, most dear. So yeah, it was powerful.
Yeah, orale. And then with that, passing it back to you, Angie, and then Edgar, you can chime in on either, whatever question you'd want to chime in on. But Angie, what made you want to apply? And again, you might have already alluded it, but what was there one particular thing that you're like, oh man, like I have to, take this opportunity for this or that reason?
Just hearing from past alumni that had gone through and just seeing what the program was about. And I think everybody should do their homework. I don't think you should just apply because it's something to do. Know the organizations that are putting on these types of fellowships and how they're going to benefit you and the work that you do out there in the community. So those were some of the things I did. I did my homework before I applied. And the more I researched, the more I wanted to apply. And I just felt, for me personally, growth is my number one thing. I have to come out of something that I'm going into knowing more than what I came in with and being able to contribute more that I had been prior. So definitely NGF gave me that growth potential from the beginning. I felt like, okay, this is something that's going to help me and be another tool in my pocket, under my belt. Like I said, we're not fighting a battle, we're fighting a war. So you have to have, these weapons to use against, these different, Department of Corrections and other organizations. You have to be prepared. So I think just coming out of it, I feel like going in, I kind of knew already what I was going to be learning, but I learned so much more than I expected. And I met people that I, formed amazing relationships with. And I think that's another aspect to fellowships that's important, is having and maintaining relationships after the classes are over with. So, and I think that's how you build community and how you fight this war together.
Yes. So if y'all are listening, viewing, just by listening to these words, seeing these beautiful faces, if you feel like you want to apply for, you know, listen to what folks are saying, right? Look into the organizations that are doing this work, look at past alumni, look at what people are getting out of this fellowship. And so I'll pass it back to you, Edgar, to just kind of chime in on whatever question or whatever it is that you feel like you would want to share about your own experience walking away from NGF.
Definitely. I think just even go a little bit back, you know, this is the 5th year of NGF. We're going on the 5th year, the 2022 one, the 5th cohort we're gonna have. You know, it started in 2017, y'all. Just really want to uplift that. Started in 2017, and a lot has happened since 2017. A lot has happened in the country, in the state, in our counties and cities, everything. And we've been able to reach out to over 50 plus different participants have gone through the program from 21 different counties. And I think the 21 different counties has been super awesome because different perspectives, different realities. It's not just curtailed to the Bay Area or the LA area, right? Which is very, in their own ways, they have their own issues, but spreading out into the Valley. Oh, we know the Valley, it's real out there. It gets real. You know, in some parts of the Central Coast, it's very conservative as well. Not to mention Northern California, right? You start going up to Butte County, Glenn County, and stuff like that. And it's so that component of just having a mixed batch of past fellows, participants come through and be able to share their perspective has been amazing, y'all. And I think I want to go back and uplift that because, again, we started in 2017 and it continues to change. We're in a period of 2022. When our last cohort, it was right after the January 6th insurrection. You know, now it's a year later after that. Now we're still dealing with some of the same issues, and we're going into a different election cycle, either locally, locally meaning I guess I'm getting to is the redistricting of because of the census. So there's going to be a lot of different changes that come within the next year, and NGF is in a perfect opportunity to again come through a network. If you're from the Valley, Fresno County, Madera, Tulare, Bakers, all that, it's like, and you know that it's actually conservative and it's real. It's dangerous. You just can't come out here and say what you want to say, like in other places. Come over here so you can I would encourage y'all to just check us out. Like Angie said, do some research. There's probably some things that you'll be able to pull from there. Try pull from some of the other fellows and learn. And I think it's a good opportunity for each and every one of us to just again keep networking, keep asking questions for each other. How do we continue to evolve? How do we continue to move forward? Because we already know the system, it don't sleep. Unfortunately for us, we do gotta sleep. We gotta take care of our families. We gotta take care of some of the folks who are less fortunate in our community, those who are struggling, and we also gotta go through our own struggles. So, and it's an opportunity, and I think another thing from NGF that I reflect on as far as for myself, it was just they brought in a lot of elders, y'all. They brought in elders, they brought in different folks who offered a different perspective as far as what cultural healing could look like to each and every one of us. And it was really important. Again, as at the time in 2018, I was young, way much younger than I am right now, which I'm still young, just throwing that out there. But at the moment, it really helped me kind of start walk out of the fog that I was still in, kind of like that post-incarceration fog where I'm like, man, I'm feeling it, I'm shining, I want to do everything, but it also kind of grounded me. There's a lot of work to do, and having these folks there, and I still remember Watani. He was a fellow with me. He was a former fellow of 2018, and Watani was I remember reading one of his papers in San Quentin when I was in San Quentin. It was called the OG Perspective. He was talking about his story, and I remember just thinking like, wow, I'm sharing space with someone who survived so much, resilience and the tenacity to continue to come back and push and fight for his people and the next generation. Man, it feels like I get choked up because, I read his story in the San Quentin newspaper, and then I met him in person and I got to experience and talk to him, and we've had a good relationship after the fact and with so many others. But that stood away with me that there's so much more work to do. And this fellowship might not have all the answers, y'all. That's the reality. We might not have, but we'll have some potentially. If we don't have some, what we'll probably try to pull in together to come up with some, try to figure out how we move in a different direction or in a new direction, in a different, or however it may be. But the work's coming. There's going to be there's a budget cycle at the state level happening right now. The governor introduced the budget. That's a big thing. There's going to be a lot of bills happening. You know, hopefully, I've been working on this bill with different folks from Children's Defense Fund, Youth Law Center, Glide in San Francisco, different organizations as to pass, you know, to ban, to basically end the use of tear gas weapons in juvenile facilities, specifically on minors. And we've gotten some progress, and I wouldn't have been able to be a part of those conversations if I wouldn't have some sort of experience from what I learned in NGF, and it really helped me out, y'all. So I would encourage anybody who's just out there thinking, like, as a past participant, but as a facilitator now, know that every time we go through a cohort, we always look at what did we do right, what did we do wrong, how can we improve, and we always go back to the drawing board, knowing that we'll curtail the content, our presentations, our facilitation, not just around the group, but as far as what's happening and how we can best help you and your respective like goals, because a big part of the NGF is the culminating project. There is a culminating project as far as and we're realistic. Potentially will not be finished during your fellowship, but we always encourage folks to pursue it by all means, because whatever that project is going to change lives, is going to impact your community in many different ways. And just to end it off, y'all, we last kind of think is a thing. We revamped our website. We came through and clutch, y'all. Like we had this website, it was cool, but now, you know, and if it wasn't for our folks, Designs by Amor, who really came through in the clutch and helped us listen to us and our ideas as far as like what's, you know, what's the fellowship about, like how is the fellowship, and they really helped us bring this website to fruition and gave it some breath of life. And I hope y'all enjoy, go through it, check it out. Subscribe, stay tuned, all that stuff. And yeah, y'all, I guess I'll say all that in a nutshell. Palabra.
Orale, thank you. And as Edgar was speaking, and as other folks have been speaking, I'd see the heart emoji, the other emojis go off. So if there's any other reflections before moving into closing thoughts, feel free to take it away. Angie, Xef, if there's anything else coming up that, you know, maybe sparked, that wasn't asked of you, but sparked your imagination of like, oh yeah, I remember this or this reflection or whatever it might be, feel free to jump in as well.
I just want to say, out of any fellowship program, whether it's 1 day, 1 week, a month, a year, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. So, you know, you need to come ready, open ears, willing to learn, open heart. Some things might not be what you're used to or a style of learning, but you know, that's where you expand your mind and you're learning new things. And I definitely appreciate NGF and like what it gave to me and how it made me feel every time I showed up, and the participants that were there, my fellow alumni. And you don't see that often. I've been part of quite a few different fellowships, and you know, each one I took away something different and took away different pieces of knowledge. But this one, MILPA and CJ kind of held something different to my heart, especially obviously with MILPA because I'm working with them. But I just feel like you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And I think that's definitely something, you know, you should consider going in.
Yeah, I was throwing the emojis out when I was hearing, you know, people talk because, you know, just what they're saying is real, you know, what they said, you know, is truth. And then just on top of that, you know, it's one thing that, you know, I just want to like, you know, emphasize about, you know, the NGF program is like, normally, like I'm used to being a leader, always been a leader, you know, but when you're in a group full of leaders, you just gain so much more, you know, it's like you're at a table and everybody at the table is a boss. So, you know, it just, you know, just NGF, that's what it brought.
Yeah, and then before moving on to these closing remarks, let's just show this beautiful website. NGF application open. So if y'all want to talk a little bit more about anything regarding the website, feel free to jump in.
Definitely. Thank you, Rosara. Hey, y'all, like I said, some of our folks, and hats out. Shout out to Mauro from Designs by Amori. Really put in some work, helped us out. You're like, again, was really able to like capture what we're talking about and everything. And we really try to put a lot of pictures and just stuff that emphasize like what it was, especially now living in times of COVID. We haven't been really able to meet in person. We're hoping that sooner rather than later we can do it. We know that sharing space, being together, and is a big part of relationship building. And I know a lot of us can adapt. We've been in places where we've been forced to adapt, and we'll do the best we can, but we hope to be able to come back at one point or another in person. Not sure if this will happen this time around, but hopefully, sure enough, it'll happen sooner rather than later. And again, this website's pretty dope, y'all. Check it out. Go take your time. For former fellows, former alumni, if y'all ever want to highlight any piece of work that you're doing, any type of writing, share it out. Send it to us. Blast it out this way. We'll make sure to blast it in our website or social media. Man, they really showed that picture of me up there. I didn't see that. I got a sweater, man. I got a sweater. What was I thinking? But anyways, exactly. I was in the clouds, y'all. But that threw me off so bad. But it's good. It's good. And again, y'all, like really want to also bring in our folks from CJ in here. Renee, Brian, Nancy, Maureen, all them folks. Like honestly, they've been helping out MILPA since 2013, you know, and learn what it is to like the numbers, the legislative, how to organize and how to advocate at the local level, at the county. And I know one of the biggest things for MILPA when they first started was they were building a new juvenile hall in Salinas, or from Monterey County, but it was located in Salinas. And the big push was they were going off of numbers that were like, that predicated like 2007, 2008, that were like, oh, you need like 200 beds, right? It's like, dude, there's only like 20 young people who have been incarcerated. Why would you need 200 beds? And they came in and they really helped a lot of our co-founders, a lot of the first folks who came through MILPA to really push and drop those numbers. And now that juvenile hall stands at, I think it's at 60 to 80 beds, which is a big difference. Is that we didn't get the complete W, but we got something, you know, we threw a punch. It's kind of like when you're falling and you're just like, back up, like one of those, right? And but again, Brian brings in that expertise around the BSCC, a lot of this legislative different approaches, understanding the system. Maureen, she hasn't been a part, but when I was in 2018, she was a part, brought it in. Renee just recently stepped out. Man, on point, always brought in game with, so on the legislative side. And now we have a new fellow, Nancy, which was, I believe, a former fellow as well, that works for CJ. And on point, y'all gonna have some good facilitators this time around, and a bunch of game if you do decide to apply. And so again, just wanted to bring them into this space. But that website, check it out. For former fellows, if you ever want to showcase any of your stuff, let us know. Slide it, we'll blast it up there too as well.
Orale. Well, y'all heard it here. Go ahead and join the Legion of Legends at the Next Generation Fellowship. So with that, we're going to go ahead and pass it on to you, Angie, with any closing words, closing remarks, final words, final messages, call to action. Feel free to take it away. And it might be around NGF, or it might be in general of getting involved with your community, with being able to take part in being a leader, and feel free to take it away.
Thank you, Rosara. Just really quick, if I can backtrack to say that for those of you that are thinking of applying and just kind of wanting to know what the vibe of the curriculum is, it's not something where you're just going to be sitting all day listening. You're going to be very interactive in breakout rooms, talking with different people. I think we even played like a couple games where we really got to know each other, which was really fun, just to step out of that zone of, of what we were learning on policy. So it is very interactive. I will say that. And for those of you that are looking for that, that's right up your alley. So please, we encourage you to apply. But in my closing thoughts, I just want to say NGF definitely propelled me into the next level of movement work. I showed up in spaces prepared, knew what I was talking about, and felt very confident in speaking with assembly members and senators and their staffers, and being able to get my point across in a way that it really made an impact in the way that they decided to vote for legislative bills that I was fighting for. So, if policy is your thing and you want to make lasting change, this is definitely a tool that you're going to need to have under your belt. And I don't think there's enough classes that you can take or fellowships on policy. I had the privilege to be part of the Justice Policy Network with Mike De La Rocha. I also was part of Initiate Justice, doing advocacy work with them as well. And I think collaboratively, all of these organizations have the same end goal, and that's to make lasting change to end mass incarceration. So, it's good to have a variety of organizations that either you volunteer with, have done fellowships through, because you learn something crucial from each and every one. And I take that moving forward into my work. And, shout out to an internship I'm doing now with the Asian Prisoner Support Committee, helping deportees facing ICE, transfers back to countries they never grew up in and things like that. And so I think it's important to just learn from every aspect of the movement and I think it makes you better overall as a person, because you have understanding from different avenues, because these bills all fight for these things. So I think those tools definitely help. So thank you.
Yeah, muchas gracias. Chef, feel free to take it away.
Yeah, just, I just want to encourage people, if you have any type of interest in this type of work, don't, be afraid if you have no experience in it. I stepped in with, little to no experience in the nonprofit org world with, the whole law and policy world, but, it caught me up real quick. And what I'm doing now is like, I'm making moves. So, it's a lot of empowerment, so don't feel that you can't do it, just if you have, any type of like inkling to want to help people, then, enroll, because you'll be surprised of like how important your voice is.
Beautiful. Edgar, feel free to close us up.
No, definitely. Thank you, Rosaura. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Chef, for just for everything. It's appreciate y'all's words and everything brought in. As y'all were talking, I just think going back and kind of like reflecting on just some of the sessions and what we went through and what we talked about, and it's always a good experience. But again, y'all, for everybody who's out there, application is open right now. It closes on January 31st, Monday at 11:59 p.m. So if you're one of those procrastinators, you got up until 11:59 p.m. right before, I'm a procrastinator, no shame in that. 11:59 p.m. on Monday, the 31st. So take your time. Please, if you have any questions or thoughts or concerns, feel free to reach out to us at info@nextgenerationfellowship. No, info@ngfellowship.org. Reach out to us. I'll repeat that one more time. And at info@ngfellowship.org. Feel free to reach out. Chances are I'm going to be the one that's responding, so just know it's me. But all in all, feel free to apply, ask questions, research, do all those things. And we would love to have you on board and be a part of the NGF Fellowship family too. Palabra.
Yeah, y'all heard it here, folks. Please reach out to Angie, Chef, Edgar, if y'all have any questions. Reach out to us if you want to get in touch with them, or just hit up the website, just check it out, right? A lot of work and effort went into making sure that the website is looking beautiful with pictures and ensuring that it's as easy as possible for you to apply. So just shout out to everybody that worked on that website. And thank you all for being here today and just bringing in your badassery, your leadership, your voice, right? And being able to let folks know like, hey, let's get it moving, let's go, right? Even if you've never had experience, but if you have interest, go ahead and get started in that way. So thank y'all. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day for each and every one of you, but everyone watching too, right? Thank you for watching, and go ahead and let us know if you have any questions, and have a gorgeous day. Thank you. Peace out. Bye.
Culture, consciousness, and movement building MILPA. Cultivated change makers, yeah, we're that squad. And we go hard for the head that's liberation. Come get down with us, this your formal invitation.